how do you engage your homeowners? So we'll start with John.
I'm going to give you kind of a strange answer here. Condo Control, when they set up their e-blast system, gifted us, we didn't know at the time, they gifted us with a limit. It's what, is it 8,000 characters and 500 words? I forget the limit, okay?
8,000, yep.
And I remember whining about that, but Condo Control gifted us with that limit. So we send out what I call a 515 report once a month to all of our owners, and this is an e-blast, get literally everybody on the same page. Now, we have an amazing library with all kinds of 158 documents in the library, but that's what I call a pull. The owner has to initiate action, or the resident to get in and avail themselves of that information. The email system allows us to push the content that we want to share with our owners. And so our 515 report that goes out monthly on a template, you limited us to what we could say and how much we could say. And so it made it really easy to read. And it is a highly read document. I mean, they're just one-liners about the budget or the next meeting or a function in the clubhouse or the tennis court will be closed for resurfacing. These are all like 10 or 15 one sentences, and then we measure them. We can't get too wordy, right? Because we have these limits. But as it turns out, people today, all they want to do is read sound bites anyway. They don't want paragraphs and biographies and my family history, just the facts, ma'am. And they want it in one sentence sound bites. And so the limits we have for the 515 report that are imposed on us and the template format by Condo Control Central are a real gift in terms of being able to communicate in a meaningful, effective way with all of our employees, all of our residents. Yeah.
Good. Thank you, John. Now on to Mark.
The key word here for me is engage, and I really feel like a lot of property managers and boards try to disengage, and I don't think they do it intentionally, but it happens, and it's a real problem because people just want to be heard and communicated with. Some of the things that I have done, not just at this site but at other sites, to engage the community, not just using Condo Control, but we do things like we put out a suggestion box, and I use that for a limited period of time, 2 to 3 weeks, and use Condo Control in conjunction with that, and put out an email blast. Suggestion box is out. Please give us your comments, good, bad, whatever. You can do it anonymously. I don't care. I just want to hear from you. And people just love when you ask for their opinions. So that's a big one that I really love, and I really suggest doing it. If you want to know what the word on the street is in your building, put out a suggestion box and encourage people, whether they do it anonymously or not. You will hear what you're not hearing. Another way is by town hall meetings. And I really believe that's another way. Right now it's difficult with all the COVID situation, but you could do them virtually. But in-person town hall meetings, when I was on my board of directors at my condo, we used to have one every year. When the budget would come out, we would explain it, we would ask for feedback, we would tell the owners what we're going to be doing in the next 6 months leading up to our AGM, and what we've done in the last 6 months since our AGM. Again, it's just communication. And another great one that Condo Control has is the poll or the survey feature, which is good for something as basic as if you want to have a movie night and ask, here are 3 movies. Which movie do you want to watch this week? Or, should we have a holiday party? Whatever. Engagement is vitally important in building a community for sure. And Condo Control really helps to do that.
I'd like to build on my answer if I can butt in here.
Yeah, sure.
So Mark inspired me to share this. One of the great features about on the subject of engagement is a loop that closes with the owner or the resident who wants to be engaged. if they have an idea or they need a service request or they have a question and they ask it or they want an amenity booking or something, does the system respond? Is there a response to the system, or are they just talking to some nebulous cloud? Well, condo control, if you sign up for an amenity booking, Clubhouse, or you have a question or any service provider issue that we have, and you were to use Condo Control Central to ask us that question, you get an immediate response that says, hey, we heard your question and we'll be back to you with a more specific answer. And then we have a follow-up system. So we have a same day and almost instant response on the initial inquiry. And this is all enabled by the system of Condo Control. And then we have a follow-up system that makes sure that all open action items and service requests are addressed by the pool person or the landscaper or the maintenance staff. And this is all enabled, by the Condo Control system. So if you talk about engagement from an owner or resident's perspective, if they have an issue or a question, they can trust the system to hear it. They see a response immediately coming back. We've heard you, and they get confirmation and closeout at a later point in time. And that's all managed because of the software and the features of the Condo Control system. So thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you for your answer, John. And I just want to remind the attendees, you can use the Q&A functionality at the bottom of your screen to submit any questions.
And just to close on the loop on Mark and John's point. So, as they had mentioned, we have the survey feature. There's also a feature called discussion forum. Not everybody see that discussion forum as, sort of to solve a communication issue or gather feedback. Sometimes there's a lot of, negative feedback on that. But my 2 cents on that is you have two options. You can either control, meaning you have a centralized place to have people's feedback so that you can address them accordingly, or if the community is upset, they most likely gonna go to a Facebook, they're gonna go to another tool, which you would have no access, and it's gonna be something that you don't know, so you won't be able to address it. And most of the time, that's usually what happens, especially if you have a sort of transparency issue or communication issue, like John mentioned. Somebody sends a request, like who looks at it, right? So in Condo Control, whatever you put in there, it's gonna be there as a record, and that's gonna be sent to the appropriate decision makers from those features so that you can address on the same thing as us at Condo Control. Like your feedback is appreciated. That's why every year for a 3-month period we run what we call the Net Promoter Score, and it's between usually May to July for 3 months, and we just completed ours recently. And the main goal for that is to ask you a very simple question: how likely would you recommend Condo Control to a friend? And it has a rate from 0 to 10, and from that, depending if your rating is 0, like you mentioned, doesn't have to be positive or negative. We just want to hear, because at the end of the day, you have believed in Condo Control, and we want to make sure we're solving a problem and you're sort of addressing things that your community was facing. So it's all about sort of communication, transparency, and I appreciate you guys' feedbacks on those points in there.